Yeah, the revelations now televised. A platform for you and I. And now look with full heart and clear eyes. Now, these are just my thoughts. Truth on how I feel on these topics I reveal. Please know my toll, I always keep it real. Can't face the word if you can't face facts. For your time, just open up your mind. That's it, just live, think big, now take that. With God in me, this here was made by design. Yeah, the revelation will be televised. REVELSations.
Welcome back to the REVELSations Podcast. It's your boy, Rev. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Share this with somebody else. Of course, you can contact the show directly at REVELSationsPodcast@gmail.com or on any of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok at REVELSations Podcast. So today, it's time for the second part of the two-part series on how to get great dating outcomes in the modern world with Glenn Sandifer. Glenn is the first person I've ever had as like a true two-part. I've split some episodes up in the past, but a true two-part episode. He graced me with his presence 2 times. And this one is the completion. This is even helping your boy get some great dating outcomes because it's rough out here. It's rough out here. But that's okay. I'm always into learning. That's what the REVELSations Podcast is about. Platform for growing and learning, challenging me, challenging you, and just trying to be better. So again, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Hit the like button on YouTube, thumbs up, share this with somebody, and let's get into the conversation. Part 2 of how to get great dating outcomes in the modern world with Glenn Sandifer. Let's get to the conversation. So welcome back to part 2 with my man, Glenn Sandifer. Man, how are you today? Thank you for coming back on the show.
I'm doing great, man. Blessed. How are you?
Man, I'm doing wonderfully well, happy and excited about this two-parter. You're the first person I've ever had as a two-part guest on the show, and no better person to get that jumping off. So we're still talking about how to get healthy outcomes, great outcomes in relationships. And we talked in the last episode about what I called the players, who the people are out there. You know, we talked about high value and city boys, and then we had a call to action. So let's go back there. So what should people be doing like to get these successful and great dating outcomes?
Okay. So with the call to action, the first thing, we'll recap the first 3 for the audience. It was get therapy. Yep. Everybody can benefit from therapy. 2 years of therapy will do wonders for you, for your psyche, and for your outlook on the world. Get a job, go to work. A lot of us are gigging ourselves into extinction. Yes. Get a job, submit yourself to something that's greater than you. Serve people, which are your employees, your clients, your boss, your partners, and then it'll help with what you've learned in therapy. And then the third thing that we ended on was stop entertaining people. I said we are in prolonged adolescence with entertainment options, so we're entertaining ourselves into a stupor. We're brunching, we're lunching, we're rooftopping, and we're event planning, but we're not getting the outcomes we want. So those were the first 3.
Yep.
So then we'll go into 4, which is where it starts to get really introspective. It's know your worth. Wow. So when we talk about knowing your worth, I've done therapy. I have a job, which is a career. I've been working it for a couple of years. I'm done entertaining foolishness. So now I am not going to entertain foolishness. I'm not going to give up on the work that I've started in the career that I'm building. And then I'm going to return to therapy if I find myself slipping. Knowing your worth is saying, it has been so hard for me to get the relationship outcomes that I'm seeking. I do not want to go back. So I think it's something that rarely gets talked about because in the middle of entertaining people in the 5th, people say, well, what is the next step? And that is the bridge. When I know my worth, I can then move into the 5th call to action, which is operating in good faith. All right. So I'll spend a little bit more time here. So operating in good faith. Operating in good faith.
Okay.
Everyone is not out to get you. Everyone is not out to cheat you. Everyone is not out to downsize you or right size you. Everyone is not out to cut you off in traffic. If you walk around the world with the spirit of gratefulness and graciousness, gracious things will be put upon you. I don't want to go, y'all don't want me to go into scripture. That's what people keep telling me online. So I won't go into scripture, even though everybody know I'm Christian. But if you operate in good faith, in the relationship standpoint, you don't get the great outcomes. What does that mean? I just done a couple of reaction videos. One reaction video was, I'm operating in good faith. I don't assume everyone is out to hurt me. I've dealt with the hurt through therapy. I stopped entertaining the people that were hurting me. And since I know my worth, this new guy that I met, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And since I know my worth, I'm not going to give up the draw so quick.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I tell women, and men understand what I mean when I say this. If y'all stop giving it up so quick, y'all might get better outcomes.
Wow. Okay. So hold on a second.
Go
We're
ahead.
having a good conversation. We just two brothers chilling. So how do I say this and not get in trouble?
Oh, say it.
Because I'm a believer too, but not lose my Christian card. But no,
you're not gonna lose your Christian.
I'm a real guy. So the pushback, because I talk to guys, I talk to fellas, and the pushback is, well, she doesn't she wants me to have to wait to get her gift. We know what the gift is, right?
So the 90-day rule. The 90-day rule.
Yeah. But ain't no 90-day rule on my wallet.
There's no 90-day rule
on day one, taking her out, doing things, spending things. Because if I don't spend, right, then I don't end up getting her gifts. So I'm not, it sounds like I'm making it transactional, but what it does sound like to a man is that, hey, I need to do all these things while one of the things I want from her, she withholds from me, but she doesn't necessarily want me to withhold anything from her, especially when it comes to like dollars and experiences and things of that nature.
What experiences?
Well, experiences of what my dollars can do.
Right.
Taking her places, doing things with her, building these memories. And if we being honest, we in 2024, everything costs money. You know, everything. I mean, and if we're being honest, ain't too many women of value will be cool with you always taking her out on free dates.
That's interesting because conversely, what everyone's telling me, women in particular, I would be fine if he would plan a nice date for a walk on the park. We got two sides. So let me help you with this argument and this discussion. We're talking about men and women. I'm not talking men. I don't know a man who has a problem if I'm going on a date, picking her up and paying for the date.
Right. Absolutely not.
So if I date her because I've done therapy, I have a job, and I've stopped entertaining people and I know my worth, the minute she starts talking to me about a 90-day goal, 90-day turnaround, I have to start doing the calculus in my head. All right. Based on my interest in her and based on what she is providing back to me, is this worth it?
Yep.
And where many women, all versions of women get lost that have this mindset is they don't think men should be able to make that type of decision. I got a 90-day rule, so we need to spend 90 days getting each other. That's why you have men and versions of men who are saying, I'm tired of spending money on these women.
Yeah.
Of course you are, because you keep getting women who put hurdles up for you, which I call disqualifiers, when they don't have disqualifiers for who we call Chandler, Tyrone, Pepe, Backlund, all of them. They let them come and go as they please. But you, man, you are now having to pay. I remember I said that in the last one. You're having to pay for the traumas experienced and taught. So it's on you as a man to be like, oh, okay, yeah, you got a 90-day rule? Cool. Okay. I respect that. Religious reasons? Okay, praise the Lord. I'm happy for you. If you are tuned into that, it'll be fine. But if you're not tuned into that, you can respectfully decline the next invitation, because once you say she's cool with that, you're cool with that, she's going to believe, okay, he's really cool with that. Let me move forward. Without her understanding, he has to determine if he knows this. I will say that this is something that I've workshopped, that I've heard. It's called future talk.
Okay.
So future talk is what women are saying the males do well. Oh, baby, in the future, we're going to go ahead and get this together. We're going to be committed. And I definitely see you in my life. I definitely see as soon as I get some things together and everything works up. So a woman who's done therapy, has a job and gets to work, she stopped entertaining people and knows her worth. When she starts hearing future talk, she needs to back away. He ain't chose you yet, so why are you putting in that emotional investment? So you told him 90-day rule, but here you are mad that I ain't really feeling like he into it. You gave him a 90-day rule. He's opted out. Yep. Respect the decision for the opt-out and move on. Or, brother, she gave you a 90-day rule. You opted in. You now are accountable for respecting the 90-day rule. So your wallet is up for grabs. If you are a man, any version of a man, and you cannot afford a woman, I encourage you to not date. It's just that.
I agree.
As men, we have the ability to have a 60 to 80-hour work week where we are dialed into something that is providing value back to the market. If you are that broke, let's just call it a brokey, as they say in the street, don't date, because you are opening yourself up to frustration and little traumas by reaching out to these women, and these women like, oh, he broke, oh, he can't do this, oh, he won't do this. And then you become what they call it, the incel. An incel man listening to Joe Rogan talking about the red pill and she need to submit to me. Wow. There's no positive outcome for that type of exchange. But unfortunately, Rev, that's the exchange that's happening now, especially with the men that you just mentioned. Yes. So operating in good faith is basically stating they're not here to hurt you. Right. And you hear a lot in the space whenever a man has a standard, any version of a man has a standard. Who hurt you? That's all women are just saying, well, I don't like what he's saying, so why is he this way? Sir, you did therapy, you got a job, you stopped entertaining people, you know your worth. Do not entertain that. Go back to 3. I'm not entertaining it.
Right.
No one hurt me. Well, it feels like you don't like, you're very misogynistic and you don't like women and you really and it's just like, nope. Next question. Yep. Next statement. If you find yourself on a date with women like this, men, just opt out. Call the date. You can call a game early. They still call games early in baseball. It's raining and lightning. They're like, games called. Yankees win 3-3 in the third.
Yep.
So
and I think what happens is people are we date with a scarcity mentality where we don't want to lose the opportunity with the person. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's why people don't necessarily opt out, and they may put up with some stuff that they wouldn't normally otherwise. Right. Or they may lower their standard for someone else. Mm-hmm. I believe that happens. I've done that before. I've seen it happen before.
Yeah. We've all lowered our standard because of the scarcity concept. I can just tell you right now, there's no scarcity of men for women and no scarcity of women for men.
Absolutely not.
Period, point blank. This is why this conversation happens and why this book series was created is because people are saying, I can't get the outcome. And instead of being introspective, they're saying it's a market issue. It's not a market issue. You just don't know who you are, what you want, or what you qualify for. So of course, you're walking past qualified men in your space, but you're saying because it's not 6'2" with a high 6 figures. So high 6 figures now ain't 100,000. It's 350. He ain't making 350. He ain't got a 6-pack. He ain't got a Rolls Royce. He ain't got a Phantom. I'm good. And remember, I said, and I've talked about this in other spaces, that the modern woman and the female in particular are the two. City girls just are city.
Right.
But the modern woman and the female have made the decision, if it ain't everything I want on paper, I'm not going to put up with it, because what's the point? So scarcity and lack are statements that when you say them out loud, people don't want to subscribe to themselves, but it's definitely how people live. Just look at the job market. We got 4.5 million jobs open today. Of those jobs, 35% are high paying. All you got to do is do a 2-year program to get the skills for it. But people will say there are no good jobs. There are plenty of good jobs. Yep. You just don't want to do anything. You just want to be in the office, be the boss point without doing the work to get there. And you want to do it now. You don't want to wait. You don't want to be like your dad, be like your mom. I understand that. So I think the scarcity piece of that leads people to making bad decisions. in the relationships. And that's why the relationship outcomes are poor. I made a bad decision because I was scared.
Okay. So now I've gone to therapy, I've gotten a job, and I've gotten to work. I've stopped entertaining people. I know my worth and I'm operating in good faith. So when I'm putting these things together, so how do I, the selection process going through, okay, I'm doing this thing. Cause I think a lot of it, we're messing up even in the picking at the beginning. I think most people are horrible pickers, just picking this and picking that. So I got all this stuff together. Now, how do I go and select the person I want to date, the person I even want to ask to date? Because I think from the selection process, I mean, you're a married man. That means you picked well, right? Your wife picked well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the picking well. Once I've gotten myself together, now I can go and select.
All right. So there's one more step, and it's called follow through.
Okay. One more step. Okay. My bad.
It's a 6, and it is the final hurdle. And the follow through is living your life with those 5 in mind. So I don't want to go through 2 years of intense therapy, me personally. So I'm not going to make the same mistakes that led me into therapy. I did not like being unemployed and underemployed, which I have been and I've documented in my career. So I'm not going to mess up what God has given me now. I'm going to show up and I'm going to work every day. And the people who report to me are going to show up and work every day. And my boss is going to know that I'm working every day. I can't entertain nobody. I ain't got the time for it. I'm way too busy. So entertaining people, even as a single man with the first 2, makes no sense because it's a time suck. Mm-hmm. So when you suck that time out and you knock off 20 hours in a given week, you're no longer productive. Mm-hmm. And then when you know your worth, this is where the picking has to be. So I got to follow through because I can't take a step back. The final hurdle really is people try to backslide. We talk about it in the church. We Easter season is upon us. We all got billboard. We got 6 services at my church. 6. Guarantee if we had 1,000 people show up, 800 of them are underchurched or unchurched but saved. That's because they backslid. Mm-hmm. And it's really easy to backslide because the 5 things that I've talked about are hard to do, especially to do consistently. So this is where we start to say we see the wheat from the chaff. We start to see people who are able to ascend from modern to high value status because they put in the work on this consistently. You asked the question about picking. The reason that picking is going to be very key, if you're doing that work, you don't want to repeat that process. No one wants to go lose 100 pounds, gain 110, and then have to lose 110. Mm-hmm. But literally, that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We're coming into these spaces, we're having conversations, we do 2 things of therapy, and we're like, okay, I'm fixed. I think I know what I can do. And then we go back out there and we run the same play. No NFL franchise. Patrick Mahomes ain't running the same plays that don't work. But play don't work in the first half, guarantee Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid don't run it in the second half. But we're running the same play where we're quitting therapy, we're halfway invested in a job and with our company or with our employer or with our dad or mom. We're entertaining people on Instagram and TikTok and the dating apps. And then we're forgetting our worth because we've done all the work to know who we are. And when we know who we are, we then can say we know what we want. Right there, that's why that's 1 and 2. Because if you know who you are, I'm a modern man and I want someone who is a modern woman. I do not want a traditional woman. I don't qualify for a high value woman. So I'm going to find me a modern woman. So when I'm on a date, when I start hearing words like partnership, 50-50, working together, support, I know that in my mind, I can start to say, okay, at best, she's a modern woman because high value women and traditional women don't talk like that. I qualify for her. And then if I see that there are no emotional traumas and I see that if she did have them and she communicated them, she's healed, she's a modern woman. Let me move forward with this. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk about picking, we have to acknowledge the fact that society has told us we have unlimited choices. when dating. You don't. If you are blessed in your life, you will have 2 to 3 quality relationships. That should be it. Anything past that, what we find is what I talked about on the last one, is where people are experiencing many divorces over and over and over, which is why it's so traumatic. But when you're moving in the direction of having someone that you understand and that you're connected to, it's really easy to choose that and continue to choose it. Because so single people listening right now, marriage is not, I love and feel that I felt. It's a choice.
Yep.
You talk to a man and woman who are still married today, and they are been married 40 years. They will tell you, I had to choose for 40 straight years this person. Not the first year. Not the first year we were in love and we just stayed. No, year 5, I had to choose. I had to make another choice at year 9. I had to make another choice at year 10, 15, 25, 30. All of these things are choices. And if you look at the end result, which would be the example that I like to use, which would be a marriage, going back into it, why are we not choosing people and sticking with the choice? Because we have a perception of choice. Dating apps tell us, social media tell us, media tells us, well, you stressed out? Look at this. Just click this button here, and then you can just swipe right. You're not getting the attention, girl. You want your relationship? Go on Instagram and post that pic. 300 likes. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Yeah, you looking good. Boom. It's already opened up. And so now in your mind, when he does something, ladies, that you won't like, you be like, you know what? I'm getting attention. I'm getting attention from men. This dude from high school who played overseas, he liked me. No, he don't. He just liked your body pic. And so when you start to understand from a choice standpoint that it's a daily decision, even early in a relationship, it gets easier to make it down the road, because I can just tell you the choices get harder the longer you're with somebody.
Man, if you don't preach, because the first ever episode of the REVELSations Podcast had my friend on, and we talked about the pick and stick philosophy and how we're not sticking with it. We're picking, and then it's, oh, I don't like this, I'm out. And I don't, and that's what the world is telling us through apps, and you don't have to put up with anything. But the problem is, if you're not putting up with anything, nobody's going to put up with your things as well. Right.
Well, I'm perfect in every way. I'm flawless. He should be lucky to have me.
Right.
Man should be lucky to be with me. I'm out here doing some good things.
Yep. It happens. So you said something, a couple of things. You're like, know who you are, know who you want. So what I'm finding in just listening to people who talk about dating, and you also use this word, who I qualify for. So I want to marry these two things together, because from what I've learned in life, it's not necessarily who I want. It's more who I qualify for and who wants me, because I can want Beyonce all I want. Wanting Beyonce costs me nothing. Does she want me back? No. Right. So can you speak to knowing and being comfortable with who you qualify for? Because I think we oftentimes have an overinflated estimation of a sense of self or who we qualify for. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So you know who you are and you know what you want. So then you got to figure out who you qualify for. So I use the analogy, I believe in part 1, it may have been a different draft, of Rihanna. The reason I brought up Rihanna, at my wife's bridal shower, was that the bridal shower? Is that what that is? It's a bridal shower. They asked her questions. I walked in and brought flowers. I had to show out. So, and I have one of my groomsmen with me. So he showed up and he said life ain't never been the same. But we went there and I heard the question. And I was like, what's the question? Who is your celebrity crush? I was like, I don't know. I mean, Rihanna, I guess, but I don't really qualify for Rihanna. And what my wife said was, I don't really think he likes any celebrity. So I already had in my mind, if I met Rihanna and I was single and she was single, I wouldn't qualify for her. So I already had that sense, that self-awareness about myself. We find that most people believe what the stories that they tell themselves in their head and that they tell on social media. So I say that most people have to recognize that if you are 5'8", 235 man, 235 pudgy,
Shorty swole.
short and fat, and you live in the basement of your auntie's house because you pay the bills there, but you don't pay the rent. You are a guy. You're at best a male. So you don't qualify for a senior partner at a law firm who is looking for a 50-50 partner because she wants to go into equity.
Right.
So that man won't approach that woman. And if he does, he better catch her on a rough day, an emotional onset, a bad client review, something, because he ain't gonna get her.
Right.
And what we have to start doing is, when we have these conversations, be honest with people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in certain spaces on the internet, it is really good that people are being open and honest with the other group. The thing that I don't like, and what I don't believe, is I don't believe that there are some people that need to hit a wall and they're going to be single and they're going to be alone for the rest of their life. You can get someone. There's plenty of people out here on Broadway. Girl, pick one. Pick one. Identify his needs. He'll identify yours and move on. Don't pick the city boy. If he looks like what you used to be with, that you keep losing, don't get with him anymore. Fella, stop chasing the city girl. I know she do hair. I know she got an eyelash company, but she ain't for you. She don't want you. You work as an accountant. She don't want an accountant. She wants something that's exciting, and you're going to keep, term that my pastor uses, tying yourself in knots to please people who don't want you, and ultimately you don't really want. So, and we use a term in our house, and I use a term with my family in general. How is this serving us? Anytime there's a hard decision, I was like, how is this decision serving us? And then we just go through the pros and cons list. So I encourage anyone from the follow through and on the pick stage, just figure out what's serving you. And honestly, what's the song with her? She was like, I don't think it's supposed to be hard if it's supposed to be right. So I just tell you, if you choose to be in a relationship, it's going to get difficult. It is designed to do that because it is supposed to be testing.
Yes.
So if anyone is out there on the fence in the audience right now, I don't know if I want to stick with him. Stick with him. It's what is it? As of this recording is March. Just let's get through Easter. Let's get through St. Patty's Day.
Yep.
Let's get through the spring. And then Memorial Day, if it ain't working, girl, you can part ways. We're going to move forward. Do what the company said. We're going to move forward in a different direction. But don't start running to the app and like, okay, I got to get myself together. I got to do this and I got to find somebody because I don't want to be alone this summer. Don't do that. Take the time to put in the work. You have to know who you are, know what you want, know what you qualify for, and then know who you qualify for wants from you.
Absolutely. I agree with all of that. And it's still, like you said, if you want to break up with them today, stick around. Wait till after he's like, because a lot of times we make emotional decisions. So I have been talking to my friends about something that I'm trying to develop, and I want to get your expertise because I think this is a way that I can help get myself a great dating outcome. And that is developing a dating strategy. Okay. And I've gotten pushback. Now, I'm in the early stages of developing my dating strategy. There's a certain type of person that I would be interested in. And my friends are telling me, just let it happen organically.
Are these married friends?
I have a couple of friends. I have a married guy friend. You're thinking about it like you're thinking about it too deeply. I have a female friend who's in a relationship with a live-in man. Then I have another older female friend who's she's sort of mentor. It's good to have some older people, and she has a relationship that hasn't turned into a marriage yet, right? And they're like, you're thinking about it too much. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. My pushback was, we're supposed to have a strategy about everything else in our life. We're supposed to have a financial strategy. We're supposed to have a health strategy. I don't have any kids, but you should have a strategy on raising your kids and all of this. But when it comes to dating, it seems like everybody says, or a lot of people, I can't say everybody, but a lot of people say, well, let it happen organically. And my pushback is, well, anything that I want in life, people will tell me to go for it, have a strategy and have a plan to do it. What do you say about people? Should they have a dating strategy? Should they just, whatever happens, happens? I think I know your answer, but I would like to hear it from the professional.
Let me see if I can shock you with my answer. I believe people should have a dating strategy.
There it is. I figured so.
But the dating strategy, when you implement it, it will feel organic.
See, this is it. Right.
So your date. So my first issue, female friend X, older friend X out. I don't want to hear what you got to say. So married guy friend. How long has married guy friend been together? Is he listening? Married guy friend. How long have you been married?
How long has he been married? He's been married a couple months, but he's been with her like years. They've been together a long time. Let's
just say they've been together 7 years. They just got married. So let's just say they've been married less than a year. All right.
Yeah, they have been married less than a year.
Okay, so married less than a year. So he's going to say it's going to happen organically. The reason that I tell audience and for you, Rev, that I'm saying you want to have a dating strategy because your dating strategy will help dictate your outcome. So now you're going into part 3. So here's a revelation on part 3. So when we talk about a dating strategy, not the term that I'm using, they're basically going to be 3 parts to it. So the first thing about a dating strategy, since I know who I am, what I want, what I qualify for, and I know who I qualify for wants for me, I have to put together a strategy. And that strategy is really going to be based around things that it's really 3 of the 4 P's. It's going to be, you have to determine your location. Your location is going to help dictate where you find the person you qualify for. So if I am a modern man and I want to go get a modern woman, modern man, the first place you start is Target. Second place you start is not Walmart, Starbucks. The third place is insert brunch spot here after church. The reason that I'm saying that location matters is because there's going to be the highest population of that type of woman in those things. So location is going to be very key. You should find yourself shopping at Target, go to Starbucks a couple of times, go on Friday. They're there Friday. And then when you go to brunch, don't brunch like they brunch. Because I'll tell you, when they brunching now, they're getting their makeup done to come brunch.
Yeah, they getting laid. They getting laid when they
laid out. They in the chair all night Saturday to go to brunch. It's become the new club. It's actually pretty amazing. I never thought that they would be able to get $35 for pancakes, but they can.
Yep.
So you want to make sure that you're in that space. And then when you go, you ain't got to go with 3, 4, 5 of your boys. You can go by yourself. You a man.
Yep.
Go to the bar, sit at the bar, order yourself a drink, and then just let things happen naturally because your location is better. And in that location, you're going to find the modern woman that is looking for you. The other place from a location standpoint is you have to check where you work. Where are the modern women that you work with? I know that's bad. People are like, I don't want to, you can't get with nobody that you work with. You single, you at the job 8 hours a day, go find you somebody. There's plenty of people that's making 6 figures. You can know what they're making because they're going on trips. You can start putting it together. So I want to say the location. I don't feel like I should give all of these right now. I feel like I'm giving.
Don't give them all. I'm just saying. But my thing was more about the dating strategy. We should have one. Yes.
Should have one, and I will tell you the first one that's going to be in part 3 is location. And
okay, good.
Location.
Yep, location
is key because location is going to give you the best pool of qualified candidates. I'm making hiring decisions. I don't want to get people off Indeed and ZipRecruiter. I want people that actually fill out the application that I have on the website. It goes into my ADP. It goes into the algorithm. It pulls out the things that I need to see on your resume, and then it puts a score in front of me. And so that is the best qualified pool that I'm going to have more so than that. They all come to one place. And when I start pulling them out, I'm like, no, you don't speak the language I need. You're not in the location I need. You don't have the 3 years that I need. Where's your degree? And so you can just X out a lot of people by changing your location. I will say conversely to this, the reason why the dating strategy is important in knowing location, you will know where not to go.
There it is. I know where not to go find mine. My girl ain't in the club. She's just not. Other people's girl, that's where their girl is. My woman is not in the club. She's not. So I don't go. There
She
it
may
is.
not be at your college. She may not
Right.
be at homecoming.
Right.
She may not be at your church.
Yep.
She may not be friends with your homeboy's married wife. She may not, because you know your location. So
Mhm.
I know that that ain't gonna work. So
That ain't
as a
gonna work.
man, you walk in a situation and you see 30 of them that's ready to go, you'd be like, oh, this ain't the place for me.
Nope.
I don't qualify for none of them. They don't qualify for me. You just
Yep.
move on.
That's so wise. And I think, anything that we are successful in, we should have a strategy for. So I know we're wrapping up. We got about 10 minutes. I know you got a hard stop, but I want to get this in before we go. So, again, the book, How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in the Modern World, Part 1 and Part 2 is out wherever books show. You can go to online. Yeah. tmgbookseries.com. Get the books. I'm definitely going to be checking them out because I want to know what these great dating outcomes are, and I want to know how to get some. So for myself, so I appreciate this. But if you had to give people a lasting message on what they should be doing to get those great dating outcomes in the modern world, of course, you gave us a strategy. We have to go to therapy. We have to get a job. We got to stop entertaining people, know our worth, operate in good faith, and we have to do the follow through. And the follow through is doing those 5 things, those hard steps. But if you had to sum it all up, the Glenn magic touch at the end, this is what you need to do. What can you tell the people?
I can tell the people something very simply in one sentence. The dating outcome you are looking for is available to you. You have to be willing to put in the work to get it. It's no one's fault. Your outcome is your responsibility. We live in a free society where we can choose everything. Choose wisely and choose yourself and go get the dating outcome you're looking for.
Wow. Okay. Your dating outcome can happen. That's good. No, but it was fine. It was fine. I've heard things like when it comes to dating and things that, and this is going to sound weird, but I'll explain it. Women choose, but men decide. Okay. And you tell me, women choose and men. When I say women choose, most women, because we're guys, most women get people coming, they get invitations all the time, especially if you're a halfway decent looking woman, right? You're getting more invitations than a man. So the woman sort of chooses who she's going to give her attention to, because guys are sort of we be shooting at anything if we're going to be honest. Like single guys, we just be out here. Like there's no reason to lie about it. We just be out here.
It's all facts.
It's all facts.
Saying that he doesn't that's cap.
There
has been a season in your life where you 2-3 years and you was just shooting at everything, hoping
everything. It's shooter. So women choose. So women will say, okay, well, this is the guy. I've gotten 1,000 invitations. I got 100 invitations. This is the guy I'm going to give my attention to. But then the men sort of decide the depth of the relationship, almost as if he's going to give her, see, she's chose him. Okay, I'm going to give you my attention. I'm going to give you a chance to be a man and possibly get a great dating outcome. But then the man sort of decides on if it is something that he's going to put a lot of his effort in, et cetera. What do you say to that ideology that women choose but men decide?
I think the ideology matches what happens in nature and what happens in society in mass and on average. So we still live in a world where men are expected to ask for a woman's hand in marriage. So what does that mean? It means exactly what you just said. A woman has to choose her man. Now, we're Christian, so, and for the people who are not, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to indulge me. It is an example of us choosing God through Christ. So men are supposed to make themselves available, and then every secular person knows this. Ephesians 5, that a man is gonna die for his woman. Christian men in particular, are called to be Christ-like examples where they die to self. That's why I use language in any platform I've been on around duty, honor, love.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Wow.
duty, honor, and love trumps your feelings. Love is a decision. Duty is responsibility.
Love is a decision.
Honor is a decision. So when you live your life with that creed and that code, it is actually, as Christian men, it's an example of that. Christian men will tell you that's why their wives can give them hell in the household and then it can be peaceful, because God has called me to this. So in society, we take out the sanctify, we take out the religious doctrine and the belief. Women are waiting to choose a man. We see women who are not saved, who are not called by God's grace, who have not chosen Jesus Christ, who still want to be chosen. They're waiting on a man to come and basically give them the validation that I am worthy. And men have to make the decision to give up self and put their self into the position of what God calls them to do, to give. And it is constant giving. So this is when I go back, my grandparents I talk about are right here on my desk. This is when I go back to what he did for her. He chose her until he died. Not until he got tired of it, not until he got sick. He literally was choosing her with an oxygen tank on and died. Wow. And that type of commitment is what's missing. And I believe not seeing that commitment for 40 years has really impacted the community's choices in dating. Wow. It ain't ever going to be that good. So I might as well keep entertaining people. You know, I'm not going to operate in good faith. I'm only going to work a little bit. I ain't going to therapy because they don't know what they want, what I need to do. They don't know my story.
Wow. Glenn, man, it's been great having you, man. Again, everybody go to tmgbookseries.com, How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in a Modern World. Parts 1 and part 2, soon to come part 3. Glenn, you also have on here podcasts, speaking engagements, all these different things. So please go check them out. I've enjoyed this conversation immensely. I've learned a lot. I can't wait to get my copies of both of the books so I can get some dating outcomes, because I'm a 42-year-old single man and my dating outcomes have not worked out, because if they were, I wouldn't be a 42-year-old single man, right? So there's some things, I'm a good guy, but there's some things I need to learn, and I want to be under some good leadership and some good stewardship there. So Glenn, again, thank you so much for joining the REVELSations podcast for this second installment, man. We really appreciate you being here.
Appreciate the time. Thank you. And thank you to the audience for listening.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next time. Hallelujah. Holla back. Peace.